one family, one people, one planet, one love, one family, one people, one planet, one love, one family.
Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Global. I am reporting live from my RV traveling, and we are welcoming you this morning wherever you are in the world, in whatever configuration of life that's happening for you in this moment, because we are with you physically now and we are with you in mind, soul, and spirit always. So welcome, SoulCall Global. This morning, I'm really excited to be here to talk to you a little about the nature of adventure. And we have with us Deborah Lipitz, who will be giving us the wonderful experience of Qigong. And I will be speaking, and we have some wonderful music, and enjoy the entire morning. And I look forward to being here with you.
Hello, everyone. Today we are going to continue our inner connection through our Qigong practice. So please, either sitting or standing, be in a comfortable healing posture. Look forward, stretching the vision to infinite space, gathering all the healing qi, good wisdom, and pulling it back to the center of the head, the mind's home, and very gently, naturally close the eyes. Immediately, the entire body relaxes and our inner essence begins to awaken. Very gently, bring the hands up in front of the face, palms facing each other. And very delicately, as if holding a chi bubble, open up just a little ways and then close. Open and close, hands never touching. Feel the space between open, close, expand, contract. Open, close. Now allow the hands to move inside. Open, closing. Inside the mind's home. Open, close, massaging the mind's home, awakening our inner lighthouse. Continue. Opening and closing, massaging, awakening. Then gradually stop the movement and observe inside. Then bring the palms together, lowering into the praying hands position in front of the chest. Very gently open the eyes, smiling from the inside out, and know the more you continue, the easier the inner connection is made. So play with chi and enjoy. Thank you.
Play with chi and enjoy. Thank you, Deborah Weisenberger Lippitz. That is a wonderful linguistic exercise first thing in the morning. For me, it's first thing in the morning here. I'm in California today, so it's 7 a.m. my time. Some of you, for it's evening. Some of you, it's just a little later in the morning. And wherever you are in the world, we welcome you this day. The next thing that we love to do here at SoulCall is to take that Qigong concept and the connection with our own essence and presence and move into a meditation. And this morning for the meditation, I chose music from Etika Leckett and Lisa Ferrero. And the song is Don't Go Back to Sleep. And actually, I just took off the alerts on my computer and it still wants to alert me. So for some reason, it wants to keep me awake in that way. So Don't Go Back to Sleep is the meditation for this morning. And what I wanted to say about that was this idea of adventure is something that keeps you alert and all of your senses awake, because you have to be present as you're moving along on a journey. So the idea of don't go back to sleep is not even the concept of just when we arise in the morning and not going back to sleep, but the idea of every moment, the opportunity to stay awake and alive and aware to all that's around us. So let's enjoy this meditation and sit with it and prepare ourselves to hear the words and receive them in a way that serves us.
Sit with your friends. Don't go back to sleep. Night travelers are full of light, blessed by the company they keep. Be watchful when the moon is full. The moon appears for travelers at night. This yearning's our way. Night searches for our signs. Spirit can, without delay, save us from the whirlpool of time. Be a wakeful candle in a golden dish. Weep as you melt, offering your sit with your friends, don't go back to sleep. This yearning's our way, don't go back to sleep. Weep as you melt, don't go back to sleep. Don't go back, don't go back, don't go back. Don't sink like a fish to the bottom of the sea.
Don't go back to sleep. I feel the beautiful rhythm, good morning, of that song and the music and the idea of not going back to sleep within ourselves. So today I wanted to talk about the nature of adventure and the nature of nature. There's a wonderful quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson where he says, "Nature is never surprised in undress." And I remember studying that line and thinking, what does he mean by that? Nature is never surprised by undress. And I thought about the way that whenever we are in nature, there's always something it is presenting, something to see, something to know, something to sense, something to smell, maybe something to taste, something to hear. All of our senses can be alive in nature, regardless of the season or the space or the setting. Nature is never surprised and undressed. There's never a time when it's not prepared to receive us and to give us the gifts of its essence. And that's true of life. What I wonder when I am in my RV driving, we have a little shot of me driving that Natalia's got back there. On the road, I'm sitting there looking at the landscape and noticing and being aware. And I have to, because I want to see what's beautiful there, these beautiful trees that happen to be in this particular shot. Sometimes it's mountains, sometimes it's amazing rocks, sometimes it's amazing sky, sometimes it's amazing weather. But I have to be aware of my surroundings, and I want to be aware of my surroundings. But I also have to be aware of moving through space and time. So I am steering. I have my foot on a pedal, either the gas or something else. I'm noticing the mechanics, and I'm noticing that everything's working. And we talked about the last time I was on, the tire minder system and all that good stuff that keeps track of making sure everything is filled up and ready to go the way it ought to be for this journey and this adventure. So I have to pay attention to all of that. And what I've learned from this adventure of driving something that's 32 feet, so I have a 32-foot shell behind me as I move, is that I need to be awake and aware at all times about my surroundings, both the inner surroundings in the cab where I'm driving, the outer surroundings, the road in front of me. And it makes me very full, because life has so many things that it's giving to me in each moment. The scene, the vista, the sounds, the weather. Is it clear? Is it raining? How do I experience that? How do I respond to that? What do I need to do differently? Do I need to slow down? Right? Do I need to watch the inclines and use my brake a little bit? Do I need to shift and not make myself work so hard, my engine work so hard, in order to move through a particular experience? We don't want to go back to sleep on adventure. So the senses are involved in adventure, the 6 senses that we're aware of, because anytime we're on an adventure, it can be new for us. The smells can be new, the sights can be new, the sounds can be new, right? What we touch can be new. The smoothness of the rocks, the roughness of the sand, sometimes the smoothness of the sand. All those senses can be involved. But there's another sense that's involved. It's the sense of wonder and the sense of awe. I saw so many things on this journey on the road. We went to some national parks in the state of Utah here in the United States. Highly recommended experience. Those rocks look like the surface of a different planet. So I needed to be completely present and feel the awe of what nature creates with water and other minerals and elements and the colors that result in that. And I noticed that my gratitude continued to grow. I would see something, and my wife Jane and I would both see this thing and say, oh, this is the most beautiful thing we've ever seen. And then we would go to the next place and we would see something. We'd say, oh, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This is it. This is the best. This is the most beautiful vista. And then it'd be another. And this is the nature of adventure. This is the nature of life. It keeps giving of itself. And there's always a greater expression and something greater to see, feel, hear, touch, experience, be in wonder of. But we have to stay awake for it. And there's nature, and then there are human beings and other sentient beings. And seeing animals sitting at a campsite, a deer decided to come for a visit. Another time, there were birds that I hadn't actually seen before, swooping into the picture. And then people, beautiful people, sometimes just waving the hand as a neighbor in a campsite, sometimes being on the road, and sometimes actually having conversations, and sometimes people that I know stopping for a visit and being warmed by embraces after all this time without that. The people are part of the adventure. And the adventure of staying awake and aware to their presence and not being occupied with anything else. When we're in the trees or in the ocean, we can find ourselves, if we decide to tune in to that, being just aware of the nature. We can do the same with people. We can be in wonder and in awe of people and who they are being and who they are, and make that heart connection. And for me, this is the greatest adventure. I love our adventures of going places and seeing things and seeing new things and experiencing them, and the awe and wonder and grandeur of the earth itself. And I also love being able to be with people in a way that's present and not knowing who is going to join us on the journey sometimes, who we're going to meet in the store that we stop in. We stopped in some mountain towns along the way, little small towns, probably populations of 1,000 or so. And we would go into a store, and it would be called a hardware store, for example, in Hot Springs, North Carolina. But the store had everything because it's a very small town. And the couple who ran it had a story about how they came to be there in this mountain town. And everything we needed was right where we were. And anything we wanted to know about, they had the answer to. And we had a conversation about life and about choices and about being. And it was such a surprising and beautiful thing to happen on an afternoon of a day where you just take a walk and walk into a store. That too is adventure. And that conversation led to some ideas about life and about adventure and about possibilities and where people can end up landing, and whether that choice where they landed is the perfect one ultimately or the perfect one for that moment was very clear that in every moment we're having choices, and we can re-choose the place where we are, or we can decide that it's time to move forward or go on our adventure, or it's time for us to deepen the experience we're having right where we are on our adventure. All of this is adventurous. And what is this nature of adventure in us, in our spirit? It's that openness and curiosity. It's that wondering what's next around the bend. What will I see? Is everything prepared for accepting whatever I might see? That adventurous spirit and preparation for it doesn't require us to get in an RV and travel 3,800 miles, which Jane and I just did, to arrive in California. That adventurous spirit allows us to be present wherever we are, whatever we happen to be doing. And truly, I notice that it can be as fulfilling and as full as being on the road and seeing amazing landscapes if I'm really paying attention. And if I notice not only the nature and the weather and the landscape, but the people that come into my awareness, into my experience. The people we're walking along the same canyon path. Who are they? Sending blessings to them, noticing them, even if we don't speak, but being aware of all the people and the sentient beings that surround us in every moment, and sending them our message of love from our heart. Walking in this vibration, in the adventure, is the richness, is the juiciness of it. And we can stay in this state of mind in our car, in our vehicle, in a plane, as we're walking, even as we're sitting in our chair, maybe our favorite spot, having a cup of tea or coffee, looking out at something wonderful. We can feel this sense of adventure even when we're reading a wonderful book or reading our spiritual essays, whatever we choose to do. We can feel this sense of adventure when we write. There are wonderful experiences of writing here at SoulCall, and people are noticing the adventure of the inner journey as they write it out and find out what the words are that articulate what's happening inside them, that inner adventure. The adventure is available at all times. We had a theme this month about freedom. What I love about that concept, we've been talking about it the whole month, but this freedom that we have to have the journey of adventure at all times, even if it appears we must be in a certain place, or even if we're actually kept from moving physically for any reason, we can move with our mind. And actually, it's the only thing that moves. Everything else is eternal and constant present moment, and our mind can take us on an adventure to possibility, to dream, to imagine, and to experience what's in front of us. We are co-creators, as we say. We are authors of our adventure. We are authors of our life. Staying awake and aware and being open to receive everyone who comes into your awareness is truly an adventure. And the song I chose for this morning is from Natalia Zuckerman, and it's a beautiful song about the elevator. So I want you to notice that, and even the elevator ride can be an adventure. Let that be your way.
All of New York's office buildings was housing for women and men and children. A place as big as Hudson Yards was filled with wildlife and public bars. Imagine the elevator. If Pennsylvania Avenue was the people's house and everybody knew that they were welcome anytime, that it was as much yours as it was mine. Imagine the Rose Garden parties. Call me a dreamer, I'm still a believer in better days to come. If every woman's magazine was put in an old-timey mistake museum, along with every starving model and dumb love quiz and romance novel, imagine what we could discover if all the raindrops were buttercups and lemon drops and our muffin tops We're there just to keep us warm through the winter. And every hammer and every nail and every splinter would not compare to what we built together. Call me a dreamer, I'm still a believer in better days to come. If all of New York's office buildings was housing for women and men and children, a place as big as Hudson Yards was filled with wildlife and public parks, imagine the elevator. Imagine the elevator going up and not to mention the escalator.
How fun is that? Imagine the elevator, this elevator of life, and who joins us, and greeting whoever joins us on that elevator of life as we move through to the next floor, the next experience, the next elevation, the next evolvement of ourselves, and who we meet along the way. And that present moment awareness, that is the gift. Being aware of the present moment and allowing yourself to dream. So thank you for that, Natalia. That was so wonderful, right? A few comments about how it put a smile on your face, right? I couldn't help smile just thinking about that idea. Who's been on the journey with us as we welcome them. We have so many wonderful things happening with SoulCall for all of you. And I appreciate every person who's participating with us, whether that's on the Soul Squad or whether that's in donations, in prayers, in classes. We just love that we are building a global conscious community. It's so wonderful. And we appreciate everyone who gives to us in every form. And no donation is too small or too big. So feel free to continue to share your prosperity as we continue to share with you. I want to recognize that there are so many things happening, but I want to put a notation on the poetry class that's coming up. The poetry class begins this Tuesday, and many people think of themselves as non-poets. Like, I am not a poet. I don't write poetry. I might like to listen to it. I'm not even sure I like to listen to it. I don't know. Poetry can sometimes be a little bit of a mystery to people, and they can feel like it's for the poets. It's for special people. Poetry, like art, is something that's inherent in each one of us. We are poets. Every one of us are poets because we have language and we have our own way of expressing. So please consider joining this course. I have had so much fun in my writing classes with folks that maybe didn't think of themselves as writers or wanted to be or wish they had, and are just writing so prolifically with such wisdom. And I know that this can happen for you in this wonderful workshop too. So consider joining, especially if it's making you nervous. Join it, starting on Tuesday with Kara Armstrong. That'll be wonderful. Meditation Mondays. So today is Sunday. Tomorrow we have meditation from 8 to 9 Eastern Time. And we will rotate who's leading each time. And I think Lisa will be this coming Monday. And just enjoy it. Take that time for yourself, because setting your evening up with meditation is such a beautiful gift. And the collective consciousness we create when we're in meditation together is a powerful thing. It's such a powerful thing. I love reminding myself of how powerful it is when we collectively are focused in and connected in and focused in on the essence of life and the unlimited source. There's the work that was done by Emoto about messages in water, you may remember. And he talked about how a collective of people could stand at a water source, whether it was a river or a lake or a pond or something that had some compromises in it, some toxins even. And their prayers actually cleaned the water. This is documented. We have to remember this, that we affect life as we meditate and pray together. So consider joining us on Monday. And share us on social media, and share us share our newsletter. Let friends know about this. Maybe make a personal message that says, this is what I'm receiving from this. Why don't you check it out? See if you receive something from it. That's the way we grow, if you share. Willie is coming up, and it'll be with Bonetta Odib and Natalia Zuckerman. That looks exciting. I can't wait to have that. And as always, I will be available, and whoever speaks for you on Sunday will be available in the Rewind room, which you need to register for on the website, just so that we can get you the Zoom link if you'd like to join us in about 30 minutes at 11 Eastern, 8 o'clock for me here in California. And we will just see if there's something on your heart or mind about this, what just we spoke about today around adventure, the nature of adventure, or anything that has come up for you that we can support you on, or just witness and be witnesses for each other. So join us in the Zoom room for the Rewind, if that is calling to you. I think I got all the announcements. Is there anything else back there, Natalia, that you need to flash up on the screen so that I don't forget to tell these wonderful people? Yeah, they have an option too. Great. So send your prayers to SoulCall, send your donations to SoulCall, send your love to SoulCall, because we send it all back to you. Everywhere in the world, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever adventure you happen to be on, just know this: you are loved. Thank you for being with us.
One family, one people, one planet, one love.